Hello, everybody, and welcome back to James's House of Rock. Today I have the lovely guest Paint by Numbers here with me in the studio.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. We might as well hop right into the interview because what's the fun in waiting? What role? We can start with your names and what roles you guys do in the band. You can go in whatever order you want.
I'm Brooke. I play the bass, and I'm one of the lead vocalists. And I do the instrumentation part of the writing.
Nice.
I'm Kat. I have life experiences, cry on my bedroom floor, write about it, and then they turn it into the music. But I do the lyric writing, and I also do some piano and some ukulele, and I sing sometimes.
I'm Devin. I play the guitar and I sing.
Nice. All right. So, what? I know you two are sisters. What brought you guys together, like with her and just like as a band in general?
Second grade.
Yeah.
That was when me and Devin were assigned to the same class, and we would sing in the hallways like as loud as we can up and down it with another one of our friends.
There you go.
So we've just been friends for a really long time, and we all kind of were learning how we were as musicians with each other. It wasn't until like high school where there was one performance that Brooke had where I hopped on stage to help, and I was like, oh my God, we should have a band. This is so like an original thought. And they went, we've been yelling at you for years to like make a band with us. So yeah, it's been since senior year of high school that we made it official, but we've been singing for God knows how long.
Nice. So, where did the name Paint by Numbers come from? Was it your first choice, or was it were there other choices that went before it?
I don't think there was any other name. I went to random band name generator and I clicked generate band name and it came up with Paint by Numbers, and that's kind of, and like we tried like some other names after that, but it was just the one that felt most like us.
I don't even remember what any of the other
Yeah.
names were.
No.
Paint by Numbers is a very cool name.
It really is, and it
so.
fits your aesthetic so well for have just been like a random generator.
Yeah,
Like,
and we could totally make up this whole big story of like, oh yeah, so like I was having this songwriting moment, I was painting, but like no, but it fits. Like we don't know how, but it fits.
Yeah, I mean there have been other bands and there've been other guests on the show that have done stuff like that. So maybe in your future interviews you can just start making up stories every time. It's kind of like Blink-182 constantly changing why it's 182.
Yeah.
I think it's the current running story is that it's the number of F-bombs Al Pacino says in The Godfather. I think that's the one that they keep telling people. But in reality, it was just there was already another band named Blink, which was their original name, and the record label called them and was like, "Hey, change your name and we'll drop you." And Mark Hoppus was like, 182, and that's where it came from. So it's one of those things where like, hey, band names come from the best places. Like, so what influences you? You can start with like what influences you as an individual, and then maybe go to like a broader of like what influences the band in general. And again, you can go in whatever order you want to speak.
I would say All Time Low is probably one of my biggest inspirations. Zach Merrick is the one that inspired me to play bass and with the finger picking style. And I really enjoy like female pop punk bands, especially like Paramore, Tonight Alive, Hey Monday, stuff like that.
Tonight Alive puts on a wonderful live show. They're so good. Anyway, Devin.
So All Time Low is definitely a big influence for me as well. The first song that me and Brooke ever performed was Therapy by All Time Low.
Nice.
And then Avril Lavigne, Paramore, all those kinds of bands.
Folk and old country.
Folk and old country.
Folk and old country, yeah. So I go to a southern themed camp every year. I haven't gone in the past few years because COVID.
Yeah.
But that's where I learned, that's where a lot of my musical background comes from. It's where a lot of my family's musical background comes from. So all the old time, like think Bob Dylan, Tammy Wynette.
Okay.
Love Tammy Wynette. But like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So you've got quite the like almost disconnect between genres there, but sometimes that's the best when it comes to like being in a band together, because then you get a bunch of different insights from different angles.
Yeah.
So like you kind of mentioned where your musical background came from. What about the two of you?
Okay. Ooh. I just had a brain fart. It's okay. Edit it in post.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And you can have a blooper section.
Yeah.
I would say our parents why can't I like think of
okay.
how to speak.
Our parents both love music.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So they really introduced us to a lot of different kinds of music as a young age. Like whenever we were tucked in for the night, my dad would either put on like Simon and Garfunkel or like John Denver for us to sleep to, and like we would have parades around the house where we would scream Barney songs. And
Winnie the Pooh. Heffalump
Nice.
movie.
There you go.
Yeah.
And quite the jump from Simon and Garfunkel and like John Denver to like All Time Low and Paramore and stuff like that. I love to see musical genre journeys like that because they're always so interesting. So what has been the biggest difficulty that you guys have faced since you started recording as a band?
Recording music was a little difficult for us. Our first single, All You've Done, we recorded through our student record label at UMass Lowell, 76 Records. We were able to be in the studio, but right after we recorded that single, COVID happened.
It's like March 2020 when we finished recording.
So we had to record our other songs that we've done from home. So I had to kind of like teach myself how to record things on GarageBand and how to like export files. Forgetting to turn off the metronome has been like a big thing when I send them over to people. And also getting together to record.
Especially like during the pandemic and stuff. One, you don't want to meet people and be social during the pandemic, but also like I was working full time at that time too, so it was hard to coordinate. Like, okay, so I'm gonna work 1 to 9, and then I'm gonna drive half an hour, and then I'm gonna record until like 12:30, and then go home. So
Aren't jobs great when it
great,
comes to being creative, right?
Oh, it's perfect. Yep.
Gotta love it. So you mentioned your student record label, 76 Records. What was the kind of the process of getting involved in that?
Our freshman year, they sent out an email that was like, oh, join our student record label. You can do shows and get your music recorded. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So we had a demo done of All You've Done. So we sent that in. They loved it, and they wanted us to come and record our other music. We decided we wanted to record All You've Done again because while the mix that was originally done was really well done, it wasn't really the vision that we had for the song. And it was really awesome being able to go into like a professional studio and get everything done professionally, I guess. And we've been able to do shows through the record label as well, which has been really awesome. And I'm really happy that we've had that opportunity through UMass Lowell.
Awesome. So you mentioned you played some shows. What has been your favorite so far? Any good venues, bad venues, favorite, least favorite?
Right before COVID in February of 2020, we played at the Worthen Attic, which was through the record label. It was the first time that we have all played our like all original music together, and it was probably like one of the coolest experiences of my entire life.
It's so crazy. Like, it was just my mom who like kind of knew the words and was mouthing it back to me, but it's still crazy the first time you do that and someone knows the words and you're like,
it's wild.
But it was also great too because we got to meet everyone else that was in the label. At least I did, because I go to a different school. So I got to meet all these new faces and that sort of thing, and that's
it's always good to meet your label mates.
Exactly.
So on the topic of venues, what would be your dream venue? Like, if you could play any venue that you wanted to as this band progressed, where would you like to be?
I would love to play the Songus Center, you know, a little UML pride. I think it would be cool to play there.
Yeah, I agree with the Songus Center. One, because it's an arena, and like if we could get that many people to show up, that would be kind of cool.
Arena shows are awesome.
And two, UML pride.
I mean, if we're dreaming, like shooting for it, House of Blues Boston. Because any concert that I have gone to there, I've just loved the atmosphere. I love the location. Like I have so many like positive memories associated with that. So if I were to like hit it big or anything like that, that would be where I'd want us to perform.
That'd be the first place you want to go. Yeah. I mean, that's completely understandable. And like with the Songus Arena, I feel like that's a pretty attainable goal, considering again, like you're on UML's record label and UML owns the Songus Center. So like, seems like there's a pretty good connection there. I'm sure you can find your way in.
It'd be very cool.
So what kind of stuff are you currently working on? What's next for Paint by Numbers?
We have a single that's like a live version of one of our songs that we're ready to release in the upcoming month or so.
Yep.
And we're also working on like an EP or maybe even an album for probably late next year.
Okay, nice.
And stay tuned for that live version of that song. It's frequently when I show my songs to people, I'll show them a couple, and they'll say that this song is their favorite by far. My mom's friends ask me to play it all the time, so stay tuned.
Nice.
But,
I mean, yeah, when it is out, let me know, send it to me, because I have a more information tab on my website where I post information about the bands that are on the show,
awesome.
and yeah, I'd love to post that as it comes out. So beyond, like, you mentioned a couple of projects in the works, but what are the big future plans? Where do you want Paint by Numbers to be? What's your future goals with the band?
We'd love Paint by Numbers to play more shows because we really only got one chance so far to like play our original music and like put ourselves out there like that.
Yeah, I used to have so much performance anxiety too. I would cry before every performance and after every performance. I don't think I ever did it during. I would just kind of black out and you get on stage and you completely forget.
Yeah,
but I finally like with their help, like with playing music with them as well as with some of my other friends and my other musical experiences, I finally like got that confidence.
There you go.
And then COVID happened, so I couldn't really like do anything with it. So love the live shows, but to be honest, like we've already accomplished everything that I wanted with this band because I got to make music with my best friends, and that's like as long as we keep doing that, I'm happy. So
nice. So as I stated, we have a more information tab where all this will be written down, but you might as well say it verbally as well. Where can everyone find you? What's the best places to seek you out?
We are on every social media under Paint by Numbers Music except for YouTube, where we are Paint by Numbers Band. And we are on every streaming platform as Paint by Numbers.
Awesome. Okay. And yeah, as I just stated, find it on the more information tab on James House Rock website, jameshouserock.weebly.com. So that's about the end of the interview segment. We'll be back in a second to play a wonderful round of game time with you guys with the Guess the Album covers. But for now, I'm going to toss it back to Segment Me for Album Review Corner, which this week is going to be I'm Sorry I'm Leaving, the new single from Census Fail just before they announced their new album. I'll see you back here in a second. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode's Album Review Corner. Today, we're actually covering a single, I'm Sorry I'm Leaving, the brand new single from Census Fail off of their upcoming studio album that'll be out sometime early next year. And honestly, I quite enjoy it. It's definitely a mix of the newer style that Census Fail has been known for with If There Is a Light, It'll Find You. As well as something like The Fire or Renance or even Pull the Thorns from Your Heart. But it also really has that same kind of feeling that Life Is Not a Waiting Room had, and it almost feels like a mix between those two styles. It's the If There Is a Light, There Will Find You with Life Is Not a Waiting Room. And I'm honestly really excited about this brand new album, and I think I'm Sorry I'm Leaving is much better than a lot of the songs that were on the previous album. Like, I didn't hate the last album, but I definitely have higher hopes for this one because Life Is Not a Waiting Room is actually one of my favorite albums from Census Fail. So I'll be super interested to see if this is the direction that they plan on going for all of the songs. But I will definitely recommend that you guys go and take a listen to I'm Sorry I'm Leaving, especially if you're a fan of older Census Fail material. And I will probably be reviewing the album when that comes out, whenever that might be on a future episode. So keep an eye out for that. And if you have any thoughts about Census Fail or the brand new song, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment below. If you are watching this on cable, then you can feel free to email me at jameshouserock@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram at jameshouserock. Be a pleasure to hear from you guys, and thank you guys all so much for listening. We're going to throw it back to James in the main segment to continue our show. Thank you. All right. Well, we are back, bringing back our wonderful game time segment. So most of you viewers probably already know how this works, but just to actually tell you guys the rules and to remind all of you that are just tuning in, essentially they will have a couple of different album covers that I will show. You can either give me the band name or the album name or both. If you give me both, it's 1 point. If you give me one or the other, it's half a point. You will be competing with the other guests of the season. So far, I think our record is 2 or 3. I can't remember now. But we'll see how you do. And our wonderful director, Varys, is going to, you could throw up the first graphic now. They should be in order. All right, there's our first one.
Taylor Swift Fearless.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You can reveal the answer,
What do you
Varys.
think we are?
Yeah,
Not even a question or a doubt.
yeah.
there's 1 point. Yep.
Let's
We'll
go.
move on to our second offering.
Vices and Virtues, Panic at the Disco.
Okay, there's 2 points.
Oh, we're so good at this.
Yeah, nice. And then, yeah,
Scaled and Icy, 21
obviously.
Pilots.
Yeah, yeah, go for it. Correct. And then we got 1 more, right? Yeah, 1 more.
Ooh, I actually have no idea what that is.
No idea.
I think it's Blink-182.
It is not.
Dang it.
You can reveal the answer, Varys. It is Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Oh,
by
Elton
Elton
John. I can't believe I said
Yeah.
Blink.
Yeah.
That is embarrassing.
You know-
You should cut that out.
All right, so your final tally is 3 points, if I was just
Solid.
counting correctly, which I think I was. And that concludes our wonderful game time segment. Thank you guys all so much for playing. We'll be back for just a final send-off in just a second, but I'm going to send our back my way for the artist spotlight, which for this week is going to be Oliver Tree. See you in a second. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to James's House of Rock's Artist Spotlight. Today, we're going to be talking about hip-hop star Oliver Tree. Oliver Tree Nickel was born in 1993 in California, starting his career in high school in a ska band called Irony, where he sang and played guitar. He would later get a taste for hip-hop and join the band Mindfuck as its DJ. From there, he would go on to produce dubstep under the name Criff, before finally becoming closer to the one that, to the style that we know him, calling himself Tree, which is his middle name, doing a cover of the Radiohead Karma Police that gained the approval of Tom York, the lead singer of Radiohead. Since changing his name to Oliver Tree, he is signed to Atlantic Records and has released 3 EPs and a studio album called Ugly is Beautiful, and his second studio album, Cowboy Tears, being on the way sometime in 2022. He is also notorious for not enjoying his time at Atlantic Records, saying that they've done many things against his will with both his music and with him as a person and his social media, and plans to exit music, and Atlantic Records especially, after the release of his second album. So it'd be great. It'll be interesting to see what happens towards the end of his recording contract and what becomes of him after that. So thank you guys all so much. I hope you learned just a couple of facts about a lovely hip-hop artist that I quite like. And I will throw it back to James in the main segment. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you you learned quite a bit more. Thank you guys all so much for being on the interview here today. It was wonderful having you. If you want to see anything more on them, as I've said a couple times in the episode, it'll be on the More Information tab on our James House of Rock website. You can also check out our companion podcast, JHR Backstage. Either if you're watching this on YouTube, it should also be here on the channel. We're on Spotify. And if you are watching this on the public access channel, check your local listings. It should be running somewhat alongside this show. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you next episode.